Hi everyone, my name is Jamie Prickett and I am the co-founder and CEO of Experior Financial Group. And today I'm going to share with you about the greatest builder's compensation plan in the financial services industry today. Now, to start off with, I get a lot of questions on a daily basis. I do a lot of interviews, a lot of meetings with agents all across Canada and now even across the United States as we've continued to grow. But today I want to break it down into layman's terms, very simple to understand as best I can. So to start off with, when we started Experior, we coined a phrase called tribrid. Tribrid is where we actually looked at different models that were in the industry today. For example, we have career agencies. Career agencies have strong training, unbelievable support in many cases. They take on people that are greenies to the industry. That's the career or the captive agencies. Then we took a look at the network marketing models, the multi-level marketing where it's recruiting to get recruits to get recruits. And although some people look at those as negatives, there are a lot of positives. You can have international expansion. It's a true equalizer as far as an opportunity is concerned. You can develop agencies and you can go across North America in many cases with different organizations. So we looked at the network marketing. You can build fast. Then we looked at the MGA, the managing general agencies. The managing general agencies are amazing. As a matter of fact, it's the one and only time where you're pretty much guaranteed, as long as you're with a proper MGA, a real MGA, I should say, where you have ownership of your book of business. You have access to multiple carriers. You can go out and truly do what's best for the consumer 100% of the time. So Experior looked at all three of these models and thought, there's good in all of them. How can we bring this together? And that's what we did to coin the phrase that we call it the tribrid. Now, from there, we go to BTO. Now, we actually run career seminars every Thursday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time across North America. And the reason we run these seminars is because we want to share the opportunity with folks. So the BTO, what that actually means is brand, timing, and ownership. And I'm going to talk to you a bit about the brand, and then I'll get more into the timing and the ownership as this video progresses. But when you think about a brand, a lot of folks, they want to represent a powerful brand. They want to represent a brand that's known to the public. But see, the great thing about Experior is because we are not a monster in the industry today. As of the recording of this video, it's November 2021. We're likely ranked around the top 10 MGAs in Canada, which is pretty cool. We've been in business for 7.5, almost 8 years. We've grown to almost 16, we're just shy of 1,600 licensed agents in Canada today. So we've had some incredible growth. However, our brand is not known to the entire public today. But what I will say is the brand that we have developed is a brand of a company that's helping families, doing what's right for people, and providing an entrepreneurial opportunity that's real, where people can build a business. So our brand, it's actually up to all the leaders in our company, all the agents in our company to develop that brand. And we run a very tight ship to make sure that that brand, that image doesn't get washed out with some of the other competitors. Unfortunately, that over the years, some folks have made the brand not look so enticing for others to join, whether it's a great company or not. Now, I'm going to go right into the contract level. So how we pay people is we pay them 100% of the FYC. FYC stands for first year commissions. Now, depending on the carrier, the FYC ranges, I've seen as low as 35% FYC. I've seen as high as 70, 65% probably is our largest on our platform. But if I was to say that the average FYC in the industry was 50%. Now, it's a little higher than that, but 50% makes my numbers very simple. And if you take a typical family, and let's say that they're spending $1,000 annually for their life insurance product, or maybe critical illness or disability. If the average FYC was 50%, that means you would take $1,000 of annual premium, multiply that by 50%. That equals $500. From there, in order to determine your compensation level, and again, I know some of this might just be like very basic if you're already a part of another MGA watching this video, but for those that are maybe with a career shop or a network marketing organization or maybe new to the industry, you might not understand this. So I'm going to break this down very quickly, but very simple to understand. So you got $500 of FYC based on that $1,000 of premium. Now, although it says first year commissions, that's not all you make. There's actually a bonus. And it's called a bonus, but it's part and parcel of the FYC. So as soon as you are paid your commissions for selling that customer $1,000 annual premium product. And an example of a 50 FYC might be a 15-year term or a 10-year term product. If you get in other types of products, the FYCs can be higher or lower. Now, that $500 FYC, you take that number, and at our starting contract, a financial associate, this is someone, by the way, that's brand new to the industry. So they're going to be going out doing appointments or Zooming on appointments. We do a lot of Zoom and Boom right now. But the appointment is actually going to be done typically with someone who is a sales manager or maybe one of our executive director levels, because they have the experience to train the new people coming in. See, what we want to make sure is that when the new people go out and help a family, they're going to get paid all of the compensation. However, there has to be a vested interest in one of the leaders, one of the managers in the company, to train that agent. So we start new green agents at a 40% bonus level. Now what that means is you're going to earn that $500 plus a 40% bonus of that $500. So it's not 40% of the premium, it's 40% of the FYC. So that would be 40% of $500 is an additional $200. So essentially you are going to make 70% of the annual premium, or 500 FYC plus the $200 bonus, which is $40 or 40% of the $500 in FYC. Okay? Works the same at the next contract level, senior financial associate. Most people in 1 or 2 months, they quickly progress to senior financial associate. As a senior financial associate, you make the same 500 FYC and you make a 70% bonus of the 500 FYC. Now you're earning roughly 85% of the annual premium. Now again, you get into other products, we're paying over 100%, over 110% of the annual premium, depending on the product that you're offering for the customer. Now, then you go to sales manager. To become a sales manager with Experior, because we are big believers in building a business. I'm going to talk about why that's important. As a sales manager, you need to have 4 licensed agents, either financial associates or senior financial associates, in your team. And here's the benefit. As a sales manager, you now earn a 100% bonus, which means whatever the FYC is, just double it. That's what you make. So if it's 50% FYC, you're making 100% of the annual premium up front. If it's a 65% FYC, well, you're making 130% of the annual premium up front. But here's the cool thing. We actually have something called an override. And I like to use the word a disbursement of corporate profits. We're going to pay out to the organization a set amount. And I'm going to share those amounts with you shortly. But this is what's really interesting. You make the difference between the contract levels of those in which you are training. So as an example, if you have a financial associate at 40% bonus, you're at 100% bonus, and they go out and make the sale, or you help them make the sale in many cases, you're going to earn 60% bonus on the FYC. So if the FYC was $500, you're going to make a $300 bonus override because you're the one that trained or recruited or attracted that agent to the organization. Now, where it gets really sexy in here is when you become an executive director. An executive director contract level starts at 140% bonus. So you take that 500 FYC, 140% of 500 is $700. So now you're making $1,200 on that $1,000 annual premium. Again, if it's a different product, could pay significantly more. But watch this, executive director, we have an executive director, a senior executive director, a national executive director, and a senior national executive director position. But you'll notice they're all at 140, but it says 140 plus. The reason why there's a plus there is because depending on the size of your agency and the volume in which you're doing on a monthly basis, we pay an additional bonus every single month throughout the organization of 5 to 20%. So now you can actually be earning 160% going out there and helping families. FYC plus 160% going out and working with those customers. Now, why these different levels if they all pay the same? Well, here's why. As soon as someone becomes an executive director with Experior, we issue them 2,000 shares in the mothership, in the corporation, Experior Financial Group. Once they become a senior executive director, to become a senior executive director, you need to promote a couple other executive directors. So you are at 140 to 160, you promote someone to 140 to 160, we're going to continue to pay you. I'll get into that in a second. But watch this. You're now building a business that's running with or without you because you've developed independent executive directors, and you can become a senior executive director. And oh, by the way, we issue you another 3,000 shares in the corporation. Once you become a national executive director, same thing. You continue to build out executive directors in your organization. You'll get another 4,000 shares, senior national, another 5,000 shares. You can get up to 14,000 shares in Experior, the corporation. So not only are you building a business where you own your clientele, you're actually building a business where you can own a piece of one of the top 10 MGAs in the country right now in volume and recruiting and everything else. How cool is that? Now, on top of that, when you promote someone to executive director, so let's just say your name is Joe, and you promote someone to executive director. So Joe recruits Sally. Sally goes as a sales manager. She builds a team. She's got her 8 licensed agents. She does the volume. By the way, she has to do an average of $30,000 of annual premium 2 months in a row to get qualified between her and her team of 8 minimum licensed agents. Now Joe promotes Sally. Sally's now an executive director. Joe's still running at 140 to 160% and overriding in his agency. Sally's now at 140 to 160% overriding her agency. Joe still earns 28% on a generational override. I like to call this generational wealth overrides. This is where you're developing other independent leaders. Now, here's the cool thing. Let's say Sally now has a superstar in her team. His name is Naheem. Naheem is building this business now. Naheem becomes an executive director. Sally now has a first generation Naheem. He's making 140 to 160%. Sally's still making 28% on Naheem's entire organization. And Joe over here, that's his second generation right there. Joe still makes 14%. This continues for 7 generations. And if you do the math, we're paying out another 53% to the entire organization. Now, this is where I lose people because they go, well, how is this possible? How do you do this? See, a lot of companies, they have things called marketing dollars every year. They've got different bonus incentives with the different carriers that they're using. And a lot of agents aren't aware of this, that there's a lot more money in this insurance operation than meets the eye. So here's how we pay out. 140% baseline to an agency and an executive director, baseline. Then up to a 20% bonus that's payable every single month. This isn't like a one-shot wonder deal. This is something every single month paid out. And then another 53% paid to the hierarchy generations. So if someone ever tells me, yeah, well, Jamie, you pay your guys 140, 160. I know a guy making 170 or 180, running an agency, for example. And I go, yeah, but that's only one part of the puzzle. You got to look at the whole puzzle. We're paying out up to a 213% bonus plus all of the FYC to the organization. To my knowledge, there is not another MGA, captive agency, network marketing agency in all of financial services history in Canada that pays out this kind of compensation. Now you might ask, well, why do we do it? Well, there's a simple reason. We built Experior for the kings and queens of the operation. We built it for the agents and the agency builders. We didn't build this for the shareholders to get rich. Now, don't get me wrong. You're going to get some shares. But see, we don't have institutional investors. We've had 4 different offers of people that wanted to acquire Experior or a piece of Experior, to which we went down that rabbit trail and decided no, because at the end of the day, when someone owns the mothership, when an entity owns it, it's just like when you buy a stock. You want the stock to perform, so you're more concerned with the growth and profit, not necessarily the growth in people. We want to put the people first in the organization. Now, that said, we also have new agent bonuses, and we pay them up to $150 to $500 to the greenies prior to even getting licensed, because we want to help them with some of the licensing costs to get set up in the industry. Then we have monthly contests. We do things like we've given away a bunch of Mont Blanc pens, which are really cool, Experior swag, gift cards, some technology tools, TVs, laptops. We had a big Napoleon barbecue contest one time. You know, we're constantly doing this, and our dream is to see one day that we're giving out prizes to the tune of $5,000, $10,000, $25,000, $100,000, $250,000 of prizes on a monthly and annual basis for the builders of this company that are helping us continue to grow and become the largest financial services organization in North America. We want to put all the money where our mouth is. We're here to build leaders. We're here to develop people. Now, I'm going to go to this next part here, and you'll see here that You are vested from day one. Now, for those that aren't familiar with the term vesting, it just means that you own your book of business. And it isn't a pretend ownership. It's not a you rank here and you get to this level, you own it. No, you own your book of business from day one. God forbid if we part ways and you decide, this, not God forbid, but let's say you think the grass is greener somewhere else, you decide to leave, God bless you, take your business with you. 100% ownership of your business from day one. Next, equity ownership. I touched on that in terms of owning a piece of the mothership. And by the way, these are the same shares that my wife and I, the founders of this company, own. We're not giving out like shares where you get a part of the 10% of the, no, you own a piece of the entire mothership. As of the recording of this video, my wife and I own approximately 79% of Experior. The other 21% is owned by our executive directors who are now shareholders of the fastest growing MGA ever to hit Canadian soil. Now, agency hierarchy ownership. Well, this is simple. If you decide to sell your business one day, guess what? It's contractual. And the contracts are done up front when you become an executive director where you have ownership and there's a buyout. Matter of fact, we will buy out an organization at 75% for a decade. That's the minimum buyout. That's a 7.5 times valuation. For those that understand business, that's a huge valuation just for becoming an executive director. But get this, when you move from executive director to senior national to national and to senior national executive director, we have a legacy program that goes from silver, the baseline, 7.5 times valuation over 10 years. We then go to a 75 and then 25 infinitely, then 75, 50 infinitely at platinum. And platinum plus, we will guarantee 75% paid to your beneficiary, your heirs, if you decide to sell it because we believe in legacy ownership. Or if you die, you don't have a choice, guess what? Your family is going to continue to receive everything that you built at 75% infinitely. Nothing like this in the industry today. Next, retention. I hear a lot of talk about companies recruiting. Well, we're recruiting thousands a month. We're recruiting hundreds a month. And hey, listen, that's awesome. And congratulations. We're figuring out recruiting. We're doing a couple hundred a month and we're starting to get this thing cranked. But I'll tell you something to me that's more important than recruiting. It's more important that when you recruit somebody, that they get a license, number one. And it's also more important that when they get a license, they make money. They have to be successful. See, I'm not attracted to a firm that loses 30 to 40% of their licensed sales force every single year, and then you're just recruiting to replace. Now, hey, that might have been a great model when the company first started, right? Like any sort of network marketing model. But come on, at some point, you want to retain agents, and you're not going to retain them if you're not compensating them properly and putting the value there where they need it. And that's the people that are going out and helping families. I hear a lot of talk about builders. Man, we got a builder's bonus. We got a builder's this. Hey, listen, we got all the builder stuff too, but we also make sure that our agents that are out there in the field on the front lines working hard, helping families, they need to be compensated extremely well also. Now, retention, timing, ground floor. Now listen, I'm talking to you. We're almost 8 years old now. We're not a baby anymore. We're a pretty large enterprise. We run an incredible head office here in Guelph, Ontario. We're also, by the way, the first MGA in history to go south of the border, open up a head office operation. We operate out of Buffalo, New York. As of the recording of this video, we are in 30 states plus DC. We plan to be in all 50 states in the next 3 to 4 months. And opportunity is here for agents in Canada, no matter what contract level you're at. You can actually expand your business into the United States across the 50 states down south. Now, turnkey. We have a turnkey system. Now, for that reason, there are fees associated. When people sign up with Experior, they pay a one-time registration fee of $150, and then it's $37 monthly for all of our back office tools, resources, marketing, everything. We also have an expert financial analysis, which is an incredible platform to show families how to get out of debt quicker, how to plan for retirement, kids' education, you name it. Now, the next part here is the transparency. Now, this is one that I really like. I love talking about transparency. Matter of fact, my wife tells me I'm too open. I tell people too much, right? I remember a meeting I did with a guy. He was a former 600,000 plus earner with another organization. And 3 years ago, he decided to join Experior, him and his wife. And I remember sitting down with him and I'm telling him everything. I mean, I'm saying, this is how we get paid. This is what we do. And I'm telling him, like, from the MGA standpoint, my wife's kicking me under the table. I'm like, what? She goes, and I'm like, oh, come on. You think he's going to build what we built? Now, I'll tell you that jokingly, but we have confidence in what we're doing over here. If you want to infiltrate, if you want to check us out and see what we're all about, hey man, I'm an open book. I'll tell you everything. But when it comes to our operation, transparency is key. See, every single Tuesday and Friday we run payroll, and Wednesday for our agents that are in the US. So now we have leaders that are getting paid every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. Some of the leaders are getting upwards of 200, 250 pages on a PDF document, also stored on our back office, with every single line-by-line sale that was done, the carrier, the policy number, the commissions that they made, the premium of the policy, everything fully transparent. As a matter of fact, we are one of the only MGAs in Canada that also pays residual income on trailer commissions and renewal commissions. So renewals on an insurance contract for the life of the policy. So if you're building a business, you can continue to earn residual income even from business in your organization and your hierarchy that was done 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago. Last couple parts here, we have leads. Now, we didn't build Experior with leads, but as we went into the US market this year and we've grown there substantially, we found out that a lot of these competitors, a lot of these companies out there have leads. Now, again, I'm not a big fan. I believe in building relationship with people, getting referrals, developing that way. But we have a lead program in the US. We can get people leads at 75 cents a pop that have never been called, they're never resold. 75 cents a pop. In Canada, the best we got is 14 bucks a pop. But again, these are people looking to buy life insurance. So we have a lead program, one of the few MGAs in Canada that offer that. Then we have marketing support. And the marketing is not just for Experior, the mothership, so that we can get our name out there. No, the marketing is for Bob and Sally and Naheem so that they can market themselves on social media and whatever avenues that they see fit. And we do a lot of support for that. Then we've got technology tools. Right now we're investing a little over $20,000 on a weekly basis with our development team into our technology to continue to grow the operation. Ladies and gentlemen, here's what I'm going to encourage you to do. Talk to the person that shared this video with you. Ask them to speak to their executive director. If you need me to get involved, I am doing meetings all day, every day, meeting with fantastic folks from across the industry. If you have a business right now in the insurance industry and it's you and no one else, you're just out there selling, that's awesome, and keep doing what you're doing because families need help. But I will tell you one thing. In our industry, there are two types of models. There's a builder's model where people just recruit, and then there's the sales model where people just sell. Here's what I found out on the sales model. For most people selling insurance, they got to work 20, 30, 40, 50 plus years to build up enough residual income in order that they can take off and travel the world and not have all the stresses of continuing to chase clients. It's a long game for most people. There might be the 1% out there that deal in the high net worth, but for most people, when you're helping average, ordinary, middle income families, guess what? It's the long game, 20, 30, 40 years. The challenge over here on the builder side, though, what I've seen is that people buy into a dream. They buy into the opportunity to go, man, I can be like that person. I can make millions, and one day I'm going to make $1 million a month, and then they quit the business 6 months later because they can't pay their bills. See, a lot of people, they have to starve their way to the top. And as these companies, as many competitors, as they get older, the opportunity is not the same, right? And one of our goals is to make sure that in 20 years from now, 30, 40 years from now, this is going to be as good an opportunity as it is today. Now, from an entrepreneur standpoint, a lot of entrepreneurs out there in the industry, most self-employed people, which are insurance agents, are entrepreneurs. That's why we do what we do. But as an entrepreneur, do they want to represent a big brand with a big name? Or would they prefer to represent a company that's just hitting the marketplace in different territories, that's planning to go global with the operation, already international? Do they want to help put that company on the map as an entrepreneur? Or do they want to be someone that's working with an already established company? That's an answer that that's a question that you have to answer for yourself. But if you're that person that says, you know, I've always dreamt of what it would have been like there in the early stages when that company got going and some of these incredible leaders are doing great things. If you're that kind of person that's always dreamt of being in that position, what would that have been like back in the 80s or 70s or 90s or whatever? Now's your chance. Experior Financial Group will build the largest, most powerful financial services organization in North America, and we will be going global with this operation, and we're looking for leaders that want to take a ride with us. Thanks so much, everyone. Bye-bye.